away. Ladies, sit down and listen up, because today I'm about to give you the blueprint. You want him to chase you forever. Not for a week, not for a season, but for life. Then baby, away. It's time to act like this. See, the problem ain't that men won't chase. Oh, we love the chase. The problem is y'all keep making it too easy. You're out here giving forever effort to a man who ain't even brought gas for the first mile. Come on now. If you want a man to chase you for life, you got to stop acting like a destination and start acting like a journey. You got to have layers, standards, mystery, and most importantly, self-respect so loud it walks in the room before you do. Let me tell you something, men don't stay for beauty. They notice it way, sure, but they chase value. And when you carry yourself like a woman who knows her worth, who's not afraid to walk away, who ain't begging for crumbs, that man will move mountains to earn a seat at your table. So if you're tired of short-term dudes giving you part-time energy, it's time you switch the game up. Here's the secret sauce. Be the prize, not the pursuer. Act like a queen, a real one. Classy, confident, kind, but with boundaries that hit like velvet steel. Laugh, glow, do your thing, and let him earn his place in your world. Because the one who's worthy, he'll never stop chasing you. Not because you're hard to get, but because you're impossible to forget. You see, the moment you start chasing a man, you flip the entire dynamic of how relationships naturally work. Men are wired to pursue. It's in their DNA. Since the beginning of time, a man has always felt most alive when he's going after something of value, a job, a dream, a woman. When you do the chasing, you're not helping things move faster. You're actually stripping him of the very thing that makes him show up consistently, the desire to win you. And trust me, if a man didn't have to work to get you, he sure won't work to keep you. Now, I know some people will tell you it's okay to make the first move. And listen, being confident and showing interest isn't the issue. The issue is when you start leading the whole show. You're texting first all the time. You're planning the dates. You're asking him where the relationship is going. And sis, he's just sitting there along for the ride. That's not partnership. That's parenting. And you're not his mama. You want to be a woman he desires, not a woman he depends on for emotional labor. A man is most invested when he has to invest. Let me say that again. A man is most invested when he has to invest. That means time, effort, planning, attention. If he doesn't have to think, strategize, or even sweat a little bit to get to you, it's not going to hold his focus for long. When you chase, you make it easy. And when it's easy, it's forgettable. Real talk. Men don't cherish what's cheap. They value what costs them something. Not money, but effort. And here's the thing, when you are the chase, when you focus on yourself, your peace, your dreams, and your glow, you automatically become that woman every man notices, but not every man gets access to. That aura, that vibe, it's magnetic. Because you're not moving thirsty, you're not hunting. You're walking like the prize you are. And that's when the right man will lean in and say, no, hold on, who is that? That's when you start attracting energy that respects and recognizes your value. Let me tell you something, men don't get bored of the chase when it's about a real woman. They only get bored of chasing women who don't know their worth, who settle quickly, who hand over their heart before the man has even earned their trust. But when a man sees that you love yourself first, that you're not available just because he showed up, he will keep showing up over and over again because he sees you're not playing games. He sees you're not just looking for attention, you're living in your purpose. So no, don't chase. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you are hard to get. Not out of arrogance, but out of standards. You're not hiding. You're not pretending. You're just making sure that whoever comes into your world understands access to you is a privilege, not a participation trophy. When you carry yourself that way, you stop wondering, will he chase me? And start hearing, how do I keep up with her? There's a major difference between having standards and throwing out ultimatums, and a lot of people don't know the line. Standards are about you. Ultimatums are about trying to control someone else. When you live by standards, you're saying, this is how I operate, this is what I allow, and this is what I don't entertain. It's about knowing your value and sticking to it with grace, not aggression. Ultimatums, on the other hand, usually sound like, if you don't do this, I'll leave. That's not strength, that's a threat. And trust me, real power doesn't have to threaten anyone. Standards are quiet confidence. They're not loud, they're not forceful, but they're unshakable. You don't have to raise your voice or send long paragraphs to a man who's stepping sideways. All you have to do is enforce your standard. You don't respond to disrespect. You don't make space for inconsistency. You don't argue with someone who's not showing up for you. And guess what? A man who respects himself will recognize a woman who respects herself. It'll make him level up or step out, and either one is a win. When you throw out ultimatums, what you're really doing is saying, "Way, I'm afraid he won't choose you, afraid you'll get left behind, afraid your needs will never be met unless you force them to be." And that fear, sis, that's not attractive. That's not queen energy. That's panic dressed up as power. And any man worth keeping will feel that insecurity coming off you in waves. And he'll either run from it or worse, manipulate it. But when you operate from your standards, if something beautiful happens, you stop over-explaining yourself, you stop begging for clarity, loyalty, effort, because you know what you bring to the table. Way. And you know what kind of behavior you'll walk away from. And let me tell you, nothing is more powerful than a woman who can walk away without causing a scene. Away. That's the kind of energy that sets the tone without ever having to raise her voice. Here's what you got to remember. A man will rise to the level you require or fall off when he realizes you're not bending. Either way, your job isn't to force him to act right. Your job is to hold your space. Speak your truth and watch what he does next. Standards are the blueprint for how someone can be in your life. You don't have to scream them. Away. You don't have to keep repeating them. You just have to live them daily. If he's not calling, you're not chasing. If he's inconsistent, you're not confused, you're gone. That's the difference. Ultimatums say, "Please change for me." Standards say, "Way, I only allow people in my life who don't need to be told twice." And when you carry that kind of energy, you won't have to demand a thing because the right man will come already prepared to meet the level you live on. Let me tell you something, overexposure kills curiosity. When you give someone every piece of you up front, your thoughts, your fears, your whole life story in the first week, you leave nothing for them to discover. Away. And let's be real, people don't value what's handed to them too quickly. It's not that you're not worthy, it's that you're not giving him a reason to stay curious. See, mystery is not about being secretive or fake, it's about having layers, layers that unfold over time, not all at once. When you hold back a little, way, you create space for intrigue. You give a man the opportunity to pursue the deeper parts of you. That's what keeps the energy alive. He should be wondering, oh, way, what's she really passionate about? Or what makes her tick when she's not around me? And the only way he'll ask those questions is if you stop answering them before he's even earned the right to know. You got to stop narrating your whole soul before he's even proven he can carry it. Look, I'm not saying play games, but baby, away. Please don't hand over the playbook on date number 2. You don't need to pour out your childhood traumas, your last relationship breakdown, your career goals, your family drama, and your 5-year life plan all in the first hour. Hold a little bit back. Let him earn access to your world. Way, because every time he earns a new layer of you and you reveal a piece of your story, it'll feel special, not routine. See, men are hunters by nature. They love the chase, yes, but even more than that, they love the unknown. They want to figure you out. And if they think they've got you all figured out by Friday, best believe they're already losing interest by Saturday. But when you carry yourself like a woman who can't be summed up in a single conversation, one who reveals herself in chapters, not captions, then you've got his attention. Not just today, long term. Mystery isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being intentional. It means you choose what to share, when to share it, and who's earned the space to hear it. It means you don't need to be the loudest person in the room because your presence already speaks. You don't always have to be available. Way. You don't always have to reply right away. Let some things breathe. Let him wonder. Let him miss you. Because when he has to think about you, when he has to work to know you, that's when he starts valuing you differently. So stop giving him the ending before he's read the first few pages. Stop turning every date into a TED talk about your life. A little mystery isn't manipulation, it's mastery. It's knowing that your life is a book. And not everyone gets a fast pass to the final chapter. You are not supposed to be easily understood. You're supposed to be discovered, studied, and respected one layer at a time. Confidence is the real glow up. It's louder than looks, stronger than style, and longer lasting than any trend. When a woman walks into a room with confidence, she doesn't need to announce herself. The room feels her. People pause, eyes shift, energy moves. Why? Because confidence says, I know who I am and I'm good with her. You could be in sweatpants or stilettos, hair done or messy bun. When confidence leads the way, you own the space. And let me tell you something, a man doesn't chase perfection. He chases presence. Let's get this straight. Confidence doesn't mean being loud, cocky, away, or trying to prove anything to anybody. It's not about walking in and demanding attention. It's about walking in and not needing it. You're not fishing for compliments, approval, or validation. You already gave those things to yourself before you left the house. You know your worth. You know what you bring. And if someone doesn't see it, wait, that's their loss, not your crisis. When you carry confidence, your standards hit different. You're not afraid to say no. You're not afraid to walk away. You're not sitting by the phone waiting for someone to text you back. You've got things to do, places to be, and a life to live. Confidence is what makes you unshakable in the dating world. Because when a man sees you're good with or without him, that's when he starts leaning in closer. Not because you're playing hard to get, because you're clearly not desperate to be caught. Men can spot low self-worth from a mile away. They know when a woman is acting confident versus living confident. The woman who lives it. She doesn't compete with other women. She doesn't chase after men. And she damn sure doesn't settle for half love. She radiates a kind of calm power. The kind that says, you can come correct or you can keep walking. Either way, I'm good. And that energy, that's the kind that sticks with a man, that follows him home, keeps him thinking, has him wondering how to get next to that again. See, confidence isn't just about how you feel. It shapes how others treat you. If you walk like you're unsure of your value, people will treat you like you're optional. But when you walk like you know you're the main event, not in a rude way, not in a flashy way, but in a rooted solid, I know who I am then everyone, including him, adjusts their tone. They step more carefully. They speak more respectfully because your energy demands it without saying a word. So yes, confidence is magnetic. It pulls the right kind of attention, the right kind of pursuit, the right kind of energy into your life. Not because you're chasing it, but because you've become a woman who attracts it. You don't need to do the most. You just need to show up as a woman who knows she's already enough. And when you do that, baby, the world and the man who's meant for you won't be able to look away. Let me tell you something that'll save you a whole lot of heart-touchy. A man should never be your plan A. I don't care how fine he is, how sweet he talks, or how consistent he's been for 3 weeks straight. Your life, your dreams, your purpose. Let this all go away. That's your foundation. That's what wakes you up in the morning and keeps you grounded at night. A man, he can be the cherry on top. But baby, the cake has to be yours. You can't build your entire world around someone who's still trying to figure out if he's ready for one. The moment you make a man the center of your universe, you start shrinking everything else around you. Your goals get blurry. Your schedule starts revolving around his. Your moods rise and fall based on his behavior. That's not love. That's emotional gambling. 1 minute you're up, away. Next minute you're questioning your worth over someone who hasn't even earned your full access. And for what? So you can feel chosen. Girl, choose yourself first every single time. Now listen, there's nothing wrong with wanting love, wanting connection, romance, companionship. That's natural. But when your need for him starts drowning your relationship with yourself, that's when you lose power. Your plan A should always be your growth, your peace, your bag, your healing, your glow. Because when you're solid in you, you stop clinging to people just because they show you a little attention. You'll start saying, if he adds value, great. But if he's a distraction, I'll gladly pass. Men respect women who have their own lives. You ever notice how the woman who's always busy, always focused, always doing her thing seems to be the one men are chasing the hardest? It's because her energy says, I like you, but I don't need you to breathe. And that's attractive, not because it's a game, but because it shows you're whole already. You're not waiting for someone to complete you. You're inviting someone to compliment you. There's a big difference. The sad truth is when a man becomes your plan A, and he can feel that, he stops trying because he knows you'll bend, adjust, compromise, and chase just to keep him in your life. There's no challenge, no respect, no mystery. But when he sees that you've got something bigger driving you, a vision, a mission, a purpose, then you become someone he respects, not just someone he dates. He has to work to stay in your life because you're not just sitting around hoping he picks you. You're moving, growing, thriving with or without him. So keep your plans intact. Go after your dreams. Fill your calendar with things that fulfill you. Build a life so full, so rich, so purpose-driven that anyone who wants to be a part of it has to rise to the occasion, because the right man won't be intimidated by your independence. He'll be inspired by it. He won't ask you to dim your light. He'll be proud to stand next to it. But that only happens when you remember your life is the main event. He's just the bonus. Let me tell you what separates a woman who gets chased forever from one who gets played and forgotten grace with grit. Not just one or the other, both. See, you can be soft and powerful. You can be kind and still have unshakable boundaries. A lot of women think they've got to choose. Either I'm sweet and he walks all over me, or I turn cold and distant just to protect myself. But baby, the real win is in knowing how to be gentle without being gullible. You can be the calm in the room and still make it clear. You don't play about your standards. Grace is how you carry yourself. It's the way you speak, the way you respond, the way you hold your energy even when someone's acting sideways. You don't always have to clap back. You don't always have to match someone's disrespect. Sometimes the most powerful move is silence and distance. Away. Grace is when you walk away without making a scene because you know your presence is too valuable to be wasted on pettiness. That's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence. That's control. And trust me, the right man will feel that in your energy without you saying a word. But don't get it twisted. Grace alone won't hold the line. That's where grit comes in. Grit is that fire in you that says, I'm not afraid to walk away. Away. I'm not afraid to be alone. I'm not afraid to enforce what I know I deserve. Grit is what keeps you from folding when your heart wants to settle. Way. Grit is what lets you say no without guilt. It's what makes you speak up when something doesn't feel right. Grace makes you approachable. Grit makes you unbreakable. Way. And when a man sees both in one woman, that's unforgettable. See, the woman with grace and grit doesn't beg. She doesn't force. She doesn't play games. Way. She simply knows herself. She knows that kindness is her nature, but strength is her foundation. She doesn't need to prove how tough she is. Her boundaries speak for themselves. And when a man sees that, way. When he realizes he's dealing with a woman who can smile sweetly while meaning exactly what she says, he knows he's not just playing in the kiddie pool anymore. Away. He's stepped into deep water. And the truth is, a lot of men don't expect to meet that balance. They're used to either being catered to without consequence or shut out without warning. But when you show up with warmth and wisdom, compassion and clarity, that's when they stop playing games and start paying attention. Because suddenly, he knows this woman isn't here to fix him, chase him, or babysit his growth. She's here to invite him into maturity. And if he's not ready for that, away. She'll move on with love, not bitterness. So remember, you don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to fight to be respected. You don't have to harden to be safe. You just need to master the balance. Grace gives you presence. Grit gives you power. Together, they make you the kind of woman a real man doesn't just want. He works for, grows for, and never forgets. Let me close this out with something real simple, something straight from the soul. You don't have to chase, beg, perform, or compete. You don't have to twist yourself into a pretzel trying to be enough for a man who hasn't even figured out who he is yet. The version of you that knows her worth. That sets her boundaries, that stays soft but stands strong. That's the version that gets pursued, respected, and then remembered. Don't let loneliness trick you into settling. Don't let attention confuse you into thinking it's affection. And don't let a man's inconsistency make you question your identity. You are not hard to love, you're just not easy to play. And that's exactly how it should be. So from here on out, walk like the woman who knows she is the prize. Carry yourself like someone who doesn't need love, but welcomes it when it shows up right. Because when you act like this, with that glow, that grit, that grace, a real man will chase you, not just for a moment, not just for a season, but for life. And if he doesn't, that's all right too. Because you were never standing still waiting to be chosen. You were busy building a life that no man could ever complete, only complement.